Dan, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Keith.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you because we're going to talk about Formlabs, which is a company that has been a anchor in the whole revolution of 3D printing. And this has been really a key part of innovation and growth for the Boston tech scene. So talk about Formlabs and what the company does.
So Formlabs is a 3D printing company. We have a mission to expand access to digital fabrication to anyone so they can make anything. I think I fall into that category. Here I've got a 3D printed golf club that I made for my 2.5-year-old, but we do anything from digital dentistry to most recently we launched our Hasbro selfie series in a partnership with Hasbro, where you can have your face and likeness printed out on the action figure superhero of your choice. So really broad end use case, but really trying to enable anybody to make anything.
Yeah, and Formlabs is working with the who's who of leading manufacturing and Fortune 500 and smaller upstart companies to help out with that product design and innovation. And I did catch that press release about the action figures, that partnership with Hasbro, which I thought was super cool. You could have your face on a Ghostbusters action figure or GI Joe, so that was super cool.
Absolutely. We go from the mundane to the very exciting. I'm still waiting in the mail for my my Ghostbuster action figure, but hopefully we'll have it here soon.
Now, there's a great background story about Formlabs that we covered on the VentureFizz podcast. It's episode 242 with Max Lebowski. He shares all the details about the company, how it got started, funded, scaling it. And there's so many great stories that he shares because it really was an anchor of helping build this industry. But instead of going into the background story of the company, which I normally do here, I do want to talk to you, Dan, about your background. So you're the CFO of the company. So talk about your professional history and what led you to join the company.
Absolutely. So I started my career as an accountant at PwC and quickly determined that wasn't for me long term. I moved into their M&A group, which is very interesting and a lot of fun. I thought I would be a partner there, but followed a client out to the West Coast to a Bain Capital portfolio company called Gymboree, and then followed another boss back to the East Coast to a company called Shark Ninja, who happened to be a customer of Formlabs. So I was familiar with the space and familiar with the company, and got an interesting call and had a great conversation with Max, and then that led to some great conversations with the rest of the leadership team, many of whom have been with the company almost 10 years, which is saying a lot, especially in today's day and age. And so joined Formlabs about 18 months ago as their CFO, and was excited then and more excited today.
Now, what I think is super important for people to understand is the scale of the business of Formlabs, because when it did start, as I highlighted before, it was in an industry that just wasn't where it is today. So it really was an anchor company that helped jumpstart an industry. So talk about the current stage of the company, size of the company in terms of number of employees or whatever you can share.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we set out to do, was enable professionals to make things. And you started out, and 3D printing's been around for a really long time, over 35 years. But in order to get into 3D printing, you needed to write a check for $500,000, sometimes more. We were able to bring that technology and put it on the desktop, put it on the benchtop for anyone to use. So when you think about the size and scale of Formlabs, today we're over 800 people in over 10 countries. So we have large offices here in Boston. We just opened a new office in Milwaukee. I was out there a few weeks ago for the ribbon cutting, and it could be the nicest office we have, right in the heart of manufacturing. We have a large office out in Berlin, Budapest, Tokyo, Singapore, Shenzhen, and I'm sure I'm missing a few. But we are very much a global company, which is one of the things that, quite honestly surprised me when I first joined the company as to just how global we are. But we continue to grow. We've added hundreds of jobs over the last 18 months that I've been here, and are continuing on that trajectory.
Now, regarding those hiring plans, is it pretty much across all functional areas?
It really is. I couldn't find an area that we don't have open roles, whether it be engineering, and we have about 8 different disciplines of engineers, whether it be optical, material scientists, hardware, software, but also HR. We've built that team out in a really nice way, and we continue to do so. Finance, accounting, and sales marketing, which is really our focus of our Milwaukee office. So there isn't an area of the business that we don't need great people to join and help us to continue to grow.
So once someone does join the team at Formlabs, what's it like working there? What's the day-to-day culture like?
Everybody says that they have the best culture, one in a lifetime. And the thing that really surprised me, and it shouldn't have, because everyone told me coming in, but until you get there, you don't quite have a grasp. But it's really a curious culture. Everyone who works at Formlabs is interested not in just what they're doing, but what everyone else is doing and how they can help. Coming from organizations that were anywhere from 5, 10 to 1,000 times the size of Formlabs, it really has a culture of inclusion, and everyone wants to help. So the way that I describe it is, in any call it standard corporate role, you spend about 25% of your energy politicking. At Formlabs, that is right around 2 to 3%. The remainder we fill with spirited debate and trying to get to the right answer. But at the end of the day, this is not an organization where if you end up on the wrong side, quote unquote, of the decision, where that's held against you. It's actually really very much promoted, because we want everyone to give their insight in order to come out with the best answer.
Now, regardless of economic conditions, top talent will always have options. So why is now the ideal time for someone to join the team at Formlabs?
I mean, always the best opportunity to join Formlabs, whether it's today or tomorrow or in a year. I think it's a couple different things. One is that we built the business brick by brick, and we don't get out over our skis. So we have a very healthy foundation from a financial perspective. You could imagine, as the CFO, that's something that's very important to me and something that I drive for. But we have new interesting opportunities for people to work on all the time. As I mentioned, we're growing every team. We're growing into to new regions. We're growing into new products. We're growing into new ways of doing things. And at a place like Formlabs, where we have that scale, right, we're over 800 people, but we don't have that level of bureaucracy where, the way I see it in other companies is you have to make 10 different people have to make a decision, either pro or con, to make something move. At Formlabs, it's 1, maybe 2 people who make a decision that can impact the business and really do. And you see that every single day. So if you're interested in joining a company where you actually have an impact from day one, it's a great time to join.
Well, if you are interested in exploring opportunities at Formlabs, you need to go to their company page on VentureFizz, which has all their listings. And I can't stress this enough. This is a category creating company. They have made desktop 3D printing a reality. And this company is still got a ton of market opportunity ahead. So go to their company page on VentureFizz. Go to venturefizz.com/Formlabs. You'll see all their listings there. Dan, thanks so much for taking the time to walk us through all the great things happening at the company.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Keith.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. At VentureFizz, our mission is to share the stories of companies, their people, and culture. So if you're interested in more interviews with founders and executives in the tech industry, make sure you click on the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching.